Are you actually kidding me? Wait, look at my shoe. Oh my God. My shoe and Bigfoot's shoe. This is crazy.
In today's video, we're breaking down one of the wildest Bigfoot sightings to surface in years. This isn't some blurry photo or random footprint. This is a close-range encounter backed by terrifying sounds, massive impressions in the dirt, and first-hand accounts that'll leave you questioning everything. We've got all the details, witness reports, and the evidence that has even seasoned researchers shaking their heads. Let's get into it.
I feel like this thing stalked us and is following us. Like, actually. What the hell? Okay, no, run back inside. There's something there.
Mo Sargi, a well-known YouTuber famous for his adventurous spirit and chilling explorations, set out on a mission deep in the wilderness, hunting for Bigfoot at an isolated cabin in the woods. His goal was simple: to investigate strange sightings and unsettling reports from people who had ventured into these forests and claimed to encounter something they couldn't explain. But what Mo and his team captured on camera turned out to be far more intense than they ever imagined. As they made their way through the thick woods, things took a strange turn.
That is absolutely insane, guys. Hold on, don't step on them. Don't step on them. You don't want to step. I think I stepped into one of them. Oh my God, this is crazy.
Absolutely insane, guys. Hold on. Don't step on them. Mo could be heard warning his team. Don't step on them. You don't want to step, but it was already too late.
Are you actually kidding me? Wait, look at my shoe. Oh my God. My shoe and Bigfoot's shoe. Holy shit, this is crazy.
I think I stepped into one of them. Oh my God, this is crazy. Right there, scattered on the forest floor, were massive footprints. Look at how spaced out they are. Look how big those toes are. Mo's shock was evident as he observed the prints. It was as if something gigantic had been running through this area. The footprints seemed to move in a clear direction. What? It looked like it went this way. Mo traced the trail carefully, noting how the footprints veered off the sand. What? It stops right here. Are you actually kidding me? He looked at his own shoe in disbelief, comparing it to one of the massive prints left behind. Look at my shoe and Bigfoot's shoe. Holy... This is crazy. The trail abruptly ended as if whatever made those tracks had simply disappeared. It just goes down there, there's no prints here. Mo couldn't wrap his head around it. One fast mother, dude! Then, without warning, they heard something. A loud noise shook them to the core. What the hell is that? That was a warning. That tree shake was a warning.
We mean you no harm. We just want to catch you on camera, dude. That's it.
We mean you no harm. It was clear something was close by and it wasn't happy they were there.
Look, there's like rock structures over here. Oh, there is a cave. Oh, no way.
As they pushed on through the forest, Mo and his team stumbled upon strange rock structures. Mo pointed them out. There's like rock structures over here. Oh, there's a cave? No way, is that a cave?
Is that a cave? No, it's not a cave.
The excitement was palpable. They approached cautiously. No, it's not a cave. But Mo wasn't convinced.
I mean, it's possible. It could be a cave. But it could be like blocked off, right?
I mean, it's possible it could be a cave, but could be like blocked off right there. He reasoned that if Bigfoot was real, this rugged landscape might just be the perfect place for it to hide. There's gotta be some Bigfoot caves out here. More strange rock formations appeared as they moved along.
Look, there's another rock structure over there, so there could be a cave over there. So maybe this is why that house is the outpost, because there could be some caves out here.
Look, there's another rock structure over there. Maybe this is why that house is called the outpost, because there could be some caves out here.
Because there's all these weird rocky structures, like this looks like a canyon over here.
Mo examined the rocky terrain closely. This looks like a canyon over here.
Oh, I think I just found a cave. Maybe? What is this? Like, this does not look nature-made. This looks man-made.
Oh, I think I just found a cave. Maybe... What is this? This does not look nature-made. This looks man-made. Later that night, Mo sat down to try and make sense of everything they'd experienced.
I'm trying to unwind exactly what it is that happened out here. Like, we had an encounter with this guy. And the dude literally vanished into thin air. Like, how?
His thoughts were racing. What happened today? I'm trying to unwind exactly what it is that happened out here." He replayed the day's events in his mind, the footprints, the cave-like structures, and the mysterious figure they saw earlier. "We had an encounter with this guy, and the dude literally vanished into thin air." Mo couldn't believe it.
Like how? How do you just vanish? Like, did he teleport or something?
How? How do you just vanish? Did he teleport or something? He was starting to question whether staying out in these woods was a good idea. "Yeah, maybe it's a bad idea for me to be out here. I don't know. I think it's just... I don't know. The curiosity in Mo's Sargi, you know what I mean, guys? But his curiosity always seemed to get the best of him. I just really wanted to get it on camera better, but damn, that thing! This wasn't just another adventure for Mo Sargi. It was an experience that blurred the line between legend and reality, leaving him and anyone who watches wondering what truly roams those deep, dark woods.
Hey fam, ready for nightmares? Check out Knock Knock for the scariest, most bone-chilling encounters caught on camera. Link in the description. If you dare.
On October 20th, 2024, the creator behind the YouTube channel Cabin in the Woods uploaded a video that left his audience both captivated and unnerved. Known for documenting his family's off-grid life while investigating the mystery of Bigfoot, he revealed an unsettling discovery from a recent trip to Vancouver Island. What started as an innocent family adventure turned into something far more chilling. During this particular outing, he believed he had a close encounter with a single Bigfoot. At the time, he was focused on his surroundings and his family, unaware of just how much he was being watched. Days after returning home and sharing the footage, a sharp-maimed viewer named Katie from Australia reached out. She had carefully enhanced several screenshots from the video, bringing forward details that had gone unnoticed. Katie's enhancement suggested that there wasn't just one Sasquatch watching him that day. There were two. Sitting on a park bench with his family, the day had seemed normal enough.
We began playing the root structure, and then...
And Mommy wasn't actually with us at the log when we began playing, right?
Yeah.
They were playing around a roof structure near a large log. His daughter recalled that her mother wasn't with them at that moment, and the two of them were simply enjoying themselves.
So, there's like this cracking sound, and I was like, and then Dad said, and then you said he saw it.
Saw what?
Saw the rock, and I think you brought it home.
Then there was a distinct cracking sound that caught their attention. At first, it was brushed off as a random forest noise, but it soon became apparent something was off. He explained to his daughter what he thought he saw: a rock being thrown. He even brought the rock home, convinced it had been tossed by something. What he believed at the time was a lone Sasquatch had been far closer than he was comfortable admitting.
I investigated some woods with a mysterious reputation near the country cottage where we were staying on Vancouver Island, and I heard some weird noises, kind of a throat-clearing grunt sound, and the sound of a tree being twisted.
Later, back at the cottage where they were staying on Vancouver Island, more strange events unfolded. In the quiet of the evening, he heard a deep, guttural, throat-clearing grunt, followed by the sharp twisting sound of wood under strain.
I went back the next day, and I found some fallen trees that seemed to be completely healthy, but just seemed to have been pushed over and broken.
He returned to the area the next day to find fallen trees. These trees had been healthy. There were no signs of disease or rot. But they'd been pushed over and broken at unnatural angles.
Actually, I found one fallen tree first, and then I saw something. I saw a large, hulking black shape that appeared to have moved.
First, he found one fallen tree. As he continued his search, he caught sight of something, an enormous dark figure. It was hulking, black, and it moved. The following day, he returned once more, only to find another tree snapped cleanly at its trunk, but this time the black figure was gone. It was as if the creature had vanished without a trace. That was the short version of what had happened, but in reality, it was much more intense.
A very nice lady named Katie, who lives in Australia, she had taken the time and trouble to grab some screenshots from certain portions of that video where I was actually filming the creature.
Katie, the viewer who had analyzed his footage, had taken screenshots from moments when he had been filming the creature.
And she had done her best to sharpen and enhance those, which wasn't easy because, well, I was quite far away. I was 50 to 60 yards away when I filmed the creature.
She sharpened and enhanced the images as best she could. It wasn't an easy task. The footage was shot from 50 to 60 yards away, and although he had zoomed in with his camera, he later had to digitally enhance the video even more to try and bring the figure into clearer view. The result was a blurry and pixelated image. But Katie's efforts uncovered something unexpected.
And she explained to me in her note that she believed that there were two of them there, because in her opinion there were two distinct faces visible.
In her message, she explained her belief that there wasn't just one figure in the shot. There were two. What he thought was a solitary encounter turned out to be something far more unsettling. There were two sets of eyes watching him from the shadows, and he hadn't even realized it until someone halfway across the world pointed it out. It was a chilling reminder of just how much remains hidden in the wilderness, and how easy it is to miss the signs when you're not looking closely enough. Discovering Bigfoot is a YouTube channel dedicated to unraveling the mystery behind one of the world's most elusive creatures, Sasquatch, more commonly known as Bigfoot. But it's not just another channel adding noise to the conversation. Led by Todd Standing, Discovering Bigfoot has grown into an expansive network of independent researchers.
My name is Todd Standing, and I am the man who takes people out into the field and has me either live interact with or eyewitness Sasquatch,
Wilderness experts, and scientists from all over the globe. They even gained the support of several forestry and wildlife officers in both Canada and the United States. Their combined mission? To find definitive proof of Bigfoot's existence and fight for the protection of a species they believe is far more than just a legend. In one of their recent video investigations, titled New Bigfoot in the Snow Analysis,
so today we're going to go through a bunch of different amazing pieces of Bigfoot footage, audio recordings that are going on out there on the internet that I'll do a full analysis.
the team dives into freshly surfaced footage that had the potential to be groundbreaking. At first glance, the video seemed to show something remarkable: a Sasquatch navigating a snow-covered landscape in an undisclosed location. The backstory attached to the footage only added to its intrigue. According to reports from the property owners, chickens had been mysteriously disappearing, and many believed a Sasquatch was behind it.
I was pretty excited about this initially because the location is being disclosed and there's a backstory about the Sasquatch allegedly stealing chickens and whatnot.
For Todd Standing and his team, this was the kind of real-world scenario that could add credibility to a sighting. At the outset, there was a genuine sense of excitement. The location, the alleged history of livestock theft, and the fact that someone was ready to investigate the site in person made this seem like a solid lead. Todd mentioned that an investigator had even planned to head out, boots on the ground, to gather more evidence.
Every year I do dozens of expeditions, boots on the ground, out there, working for this discovery process, gathering new evidence, expanding the cooperation, and growing.
However, as they reviewed the footage in greater detail, it became clear that such an investigation wasn't necessary. There were already enough red flags visible in the video itself.
So I was really happy with it all, and I saw some potential validity in it, so I had a good hard look at this.
The footage showed what appeared to be a large, bipedal figure trudging through the snow. At first, the body structure seemed promising. It displayed the physical characteristics often described by witnesses: the broad, barrel-shaped chest, powerful trapezius muscles, and long arms. Even the hands looked appropriate for a creature of that size.
So everything I was looking for in that other piece of footage is in this one. It's the big barrel chest, look at the traps that come off, the hands look...
The figure's movement and silhouette were enough to create hope that this could be the real deal. But as Todd and his team dug deeper into the analysis, things began to unravel. At one point in the video, something happens that changes everything. The figure appears to remove what was unmistakably a mask. Todd recognized it immediately. It was a commercially available mask, one he had seen before in other attempts to fake Sasquatch encounters. From certain angles, with the added blur from the camera zoom and movement, the figure initially held up under scrutiny.
So that's actually a known mask. It's a mask you can purchase that I've seen people try to hoax me with before.
But once the mask came off, the hoax was undeniable. What had seemed like compelling footage was, in reality, an intentional deception.
But from the original perspective, with the hair on it, with the side view, with the body, and if you had blurred this up a little bit.
The investigation didn't stop there. The team also focused on the audio captured in the footage. At first, there was a crackling sound that caught their attention. It didn't sound like an animal call or any sort of organic noise typically reported in Sasquatch encounters. Instead, it resembled the distortion you hear from an overdriven speaker. Todd explained that when you push a speaker beyond its limits, you get a distinct vibrational crackling sound, one that lacks the deep bass and natural resonance you would expect from a living creature.
There's a crackly sound. That's because it's a speaker. So when you take a speaker and you crank it up above its full potential.
Todd emphasized that if the sound had come from an elk, a moose, or even an actual Sasquatch, there would have been a fullness, a bass rumble that resonated deep in the chest. Instead, the sound was hollow and mechanical. This was not the vocalization of a living, breathing creature. It was 100% a speaker.
You know, a Sasquatch all have a fluidity in their sound that does not crackle at lows due to the speaker crackle and crackle in the highs.
What started out as an exciting lead, a potential Sasquatch encounter complete with a backstory and physical evidence, ended up being just another hoax, carefully crafted to mislead and deceive. But for the team at Discovering Bigfoot, this isn't discouraging. They know the truth is still out there. Small Town Monsters is a YouTube channel that originally began as an independent film series dedicated to uncovering the strange, lost, and bizarre histories that exist across the United States. What makes their work stand out is their focus on small-town folklore, stories that are often passed down quietly from generation to generation. Their team of filmmakers and investigators brings these tales to life by capturing the first-hand experiences of residents and witnesses, the very people most affected by these eerie and sometimes terrifying encounters. In the episode titled Pale Stalker, the White Bigfoot, Buckeye Bigfoot, the team brings together a collection of chilling eyewitness testimonies and expert insights. Among those who shared their stories is Mary Williams.
My name's Mary Petrella Williams, and I teach at 2 different junior colleges, metaphysics. I'm a graduate of Carlow College in Pittsburgh.
Living on a rural ranch in Ohio, Mary describes the night she came face to face with an enormous, snow-white Bigfoot.
So we'd have to walk to feed the animals every night. And so not just myself, but other members of my family, if they were doing feeding.
According to her, the creature stood towering over her, its pale fur almost glowing against the darkness. The encounter left her shaken.
They too would encounter this peripheral vision, large white bipedal animal.
And the fear still lingered as she recounted her experience. Stacy Hostetler also stepped forward with her story. She had a harrowing experience while out in the wilderness, one that escalated from a chance sighting into something far more unsettling. Stacy claimed that after she first noticed the creature, it began following her.
I saw the first couple steps and it was gone. That's the last thing I saw ever at that point from that creature.
What started as a distant figure soon became a terrifying case of being stalked by something she believed was the Pale Stalker itself. For Stacy, it was an experience that changed how she viewed the woods forever. Renowned Bigfoot researcher Don Keating also appeared in the episode. Having spent decades investigating sightings across Ohio,
turn around, take 4 or 5 steps. I believe it's 4 steps. You can tell by the bounces in the video camera. The camera, I left it running.
Don shared his infamous footage of what he claims is the White Bigfoot. The footage was captured near Sasquatch Lake in Guernsey County, an area that's become synonymous with Bigfoot activity in Ohio folklore. Through his expertise and years of fieldwork,
I watched that, and it was a cold night. It was December of '93. I'm watching it. Here comes this video. Here's Sasquatch Lake.
Don added weight to the claims that something truly unusual was happening in these remote areas. In one segment, a witness describes watching a video that featured something extraordinary. The scene was Sasquatch Lake. As the video played, a large figure appeared, walking down the road. It was captured plainly on camera. There was no mistaking its presence. The witness noted that through the process of elimination, they had worked out details like the height of the creature. It was described as light in color, maybe not pure white, but close. The figure moved quickly, and its presence on the video was brief, lasting only a couple of seconds. Despite this, the footage left a lasting impression. Although the witness did not see it with their own eyes at the time,
news columnist Henry Newman covered a sensational story for the Calcutta Statesman, an English-language daily paper founded in 1818.
The video evidence spoke for itself. The sighting was significant enough that it drew attention from popular TV shows like Monster Quest. The episode also took viewers back 103 years to a remarkable moment in history. Henry Newman, a news columnist working for the Calcutta Statesman, an English-language newspaper founded in 1818, covered a sensational story. It was the account of Lieutenant Colonel C.K. Howard Bury and his expedition team, who claimed to have seen large, dark forms moving across a snowfield on the Tibetan side of the Himalayan mountains. Newman's report, possibly amplified by mistranslation and his excitement, turned these multiple shadowy figures into a single legendary entity.
Newman's excitement to relay the tale to his readers resulted in the mysterious figures being reduced to one and called the Abominable Snowman.
He gave it a name that would captivate the Western world for generations: the Abominable Snowman.
The Western world was captivated by Howard Bury's account, and as is so often the case, the snowman legend began to take on a life of its own.
In another detailed segment, Daniel Perez from California contributed to the investigation. Known for his meticulous research, Perez traveled all the way to Ohio to help take precise measurements at one of the sighting locations.
Myself and another man by the name of Daniel Perez from California, we were able to determine that it was probably 9 foot tall, if not taller.
Using tape measures and other tools, he and the team determined that the creature they were investigating was likely over 9 feet tall.
4 fence posts that were 48 inches high on the average, and the waist of this thing appears above the fence post.
As the footage rolled, they noted the creature walking past 4 fence posts, each measuring 48 inches high. What stood out was that its waist appeared above the top of the posts. Adding to the complexity, the terrain sloped upward toward the fence posts from the camera's point of view. After the posts, the ground dropped off sharply toward the road. This uneven landscape made it even more striking that the creature's midsection was still above the posts, emphasizing its massive size. Colorado Bigfoot is a YouTube channel dedicated to uncovering the mysteries of the forest, particularly those that lie just beyond the edges of human understanding.
Giant trident. Field gold in a way you could never get it out. Sorry.
With over 74,000 subscribers and more than 1,700 videos, this channel has become a hub for those fascinated by the hidden world of the unexplained. Their tagline, "Welcome to the World Unseen," speaks to the essence of their work.
I mean, he's going in there all the time. You can see how flat it is. The same as you guys, I find these little Persian trails every time. Watch this.
Documenting anomalies, structures, footprints, and signs that suggest the presence of something extraordinary deep within the wilderness. In one of their recent investigations, a visitor from the UK accompanied the team into a remote, heavily forested area.
It's just a matter of time, and they know it. The greed of us.
It was there that they captured what they referred to as a white Bigfoot, or possibly even an angelic figure. The footage begins with excitement, as the team realizes what they're seeing is something they consider authentic. As they move through the area, they come across a set of massive footprints, clearly imprinted into the ground.
And look at this little highway. There's pine cones all over this. Now, they can do it, but you gotta be here.
The footprints are unusually large, and their depth suggests something heavy had passed through. What's more, these tracks appear deliberately marked and laid out, creating a path that leads toward a dense tree line. The team notes that there are no known animals in the region that could have made these prints, adding to the mystery.
I was playing the music down there. They literally go all the way inside this. It's all marked and set up. It's not an animal. There's no animals here.
As the camera pans over the scene, the investigator points out that they had been lingering in the area for quite some time. He explains that he may need to edit the footage later because he had music playing in the background during the recording.
Like, and I don't think it's like Sasquatch either. It's like a doggy. There you go, boy.
Regardless, the evidence speaks for itself. The prints go deep into the terrain, and the location is marked by what they describe as giant X's, symbols often associated by the team with the presence of Bigfoot or other forest entities.
That's why they picked this forest. They don't get a view. Nothing. They don't want one.
At one point, he calls out to another team member, John, hoping to show him the discovery, but John has already moved on. The sense of urgency and excitement is palpable as they document the area before moving forward. Further along the trail, they come across an unusual structure, a trident-like formation created by massive tree trunks.
Now when the bottom line is here, we'll see how ever Mr. or Mrs. Nice goes running if they're going to get hurt to help you.
The investigator explains that these logs are wedged so tightly between two other trees that no human could have placed them there without machinery. One of the branches he mentions resembles what he calls a Patreon elephant, a description referring to the size and impossibility of moving such a structure without significant force. The arrangement appears intentional.
Another trident. Look at that. You guys, I love this. Wow.
Adding to their belief that it's part of a larger communication or marking system left by the creatures they're tracking. As they continue their exploration, they find more signs that something has been disturbing the area. One of the most striking discoveries is an old tree stump that, upon closer examination,
Is that a Bigfoot? No. And I turned and I was like, there's just like this little being there. It's not though. But for a second, like before I could process that, there's a being in magic right there.
has roots arranged in the shape of an X. The ground around it shows clear signs of disturbance, footprints, toes, and what appear to be impressions left by something heavy walking through. The team insists they did not disturb the area themselves, reinforcing their claim that something unknown was responsible for the markings. Throughout the investigation, the Colorado Bigfoot team maintains a tone of awe and cautious excitement. They believe these markers, the X's, the footprints, and the massive structures, are consistent with previous encounters they've documented.
That's how they do it, because to them, like I use the expression, that's the sign of the Lincoln Tunnel. For a human, think about that, just the lack of intuition.
For them, these signs are not random acts of nature, but deliberate indications of an intelligence operating just out of sight. Their dedication to documenting every detail, no matter how small, offers viewers a compelling window into their world, the world unseen. Whether one believes in Bigfoot or not, the evidence they present raises questions that challenge conventional understanding and invite deeper exploration into the mysteries of the wild. Squatch Watchers is a YouTube channel run by 4 close friends, Tate, Taylor, Toby, and David, who have spent years together delving into the unknown. Whether they're searching for evidence of Bigfoot deep in the forests, exploring haunted buildings, or investigating strange lights in the sky, their goal has always been to bring the audience along for the ride. They focus on areas most people might not get to explore themselves, and their investigations center on some of the most active hotspots in North Carolina.
Whenever we pulled in,
it's like something just hit over there again.
So we were pulling in, and I was just trying to get like a little cool visual shot of the crescent moon and
The mountains they frequently visit are said to be among the most heavily occupied Sasquatch territories in the region. In one of their most intense investigations, the team finds themselves in a familiar remote area when strange activity suddenly unfolds around them. The team is standing in the dark, trying to stay alert and listen for any unusual sounds. Taylor remarks on something faint, almost like a gong sound, echoing through the area. They notice something moving faintly in the sky. A blue light, high overhead, that doesn't behave like any normal satellite. They debate whether it's a satellite at all, but quickly agree that it's not typical.
Is that a satellite?
I don't know. That's not typical of satellite flying. There's no way the camera will pick that up.
No.
It's so faint. But
The light's movement is slow, deliberate, and unlike anything they're used to seeing in the night sky. Despite being faint, the sighting leaves them stunned, realizing their cameras probably didn't capture it well because of how subtle it was. Still, the team is buzzing with excitement over what they've just witnessed. Later, as they continue their exploration, they make a discovery that raises the stakes even higher. They come across what appears to be a massive handprint on the side of a surface. Tate places his hand up against it, and the size difference is shocking. Taylor points out the clear palm print and the placement of the thumb, which stretches farther than any normal human hand would.
What's up here?
Holy cow.
Look up there at that.
I don't know, guys.
Now, this is interesting.
All I know is
this
clearly,
right here.
Clearly that's a handprint.
Yeah.
They're careful not to disturb the print, taking their time to document it before stepping back. Toby takes on the role of the voice of reason, urging everyone to stay calm as they examine the evidence. The clarity of the print, especially how deep the palm impression goes, makes it impossible for them to ignore. It's another piece of evidence that suggests they aren't alone in these woods. As they push deeper into the area, the team stumbles upon an eerie find, an old deer skull. They comment on how rare it is to find a skull like this just lying out in the open.
Is that a skull?
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Clean skull, too.
What's even stranger is that it's missing several teeth, and they speculate about what could have caused such damage. Taylor mentions that they've seen tracks from large predators in the area, including big dogs and mountain lions, but something about this find feels off. The skull is worn, but there's an unsettling vibe to it.
There's a dogman skull.
Google it.
Or dogman
Deer
skull.
have teeth, but I'm not sure how they really...
They're flat.
It kind of looks like a deer
That's a
head.
plant eater.
David steps in to handle the skull despite his nerves. They joke about his blood pressure spiking, but the tension is real. The group debates whether to take the skull with them or leave it behind, knowing that any wrong move out here could have consequences they're not ready to face. Throughout the investigation, the team maintains their focus, documenting every moment in detail. The eerie noises in the dark, the strange lights in the sky, the massive handprint, and the unsettling animal remains all point to something unexplained. Squatch Watcher's mission is to bring this raw, unfiltered experience to their viewers. Every find, every sound, every strange discovery fuels their belief that something elusive is out there, and they're determined to keep searching. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch is a YouTube channel dedicated to documenting the search for Bigfoot in the Rocky Mountains and the Pacific Northwest. The channel provides weekly updates of alleged sightings, investigations, and encounters from some of the most rugged and mysterious wilderness areas in North America. In one of their recent features, they covered 2 separate Sasquatch encounters that took place on consecutive days, both near the same section of the northern. 2 different individuals reported these experiences, and both described terrifying moments they would never forget. One of them claimed he was screamed at by the creature he encountered, an event that left a deep impression on him. The first report detailed an unsettling encounter along Highway 101. The witness described driving when he suddenly heard the most horrifying scream he had ever experienced. In a split-second reaction, he ducked down in his seat, panicking as the sound cut through the air just outside his open window. When he looked up, he saw what he could only describe as a filthy-looking gorilla standing beside his Honda CR-V. The creature instantly bolted into the nearby tree line, disappearing into the dense brush within seconds. The man said he caught sight of it for only 3 or 4 seconds, but that brief glimpse was clear enough. The creature appeared to stand between 6.5 and 7 feet tall, with a wedged-shaped head and matted dark brown hair. Oddly enough, he claimed seeing the creature didn't frighten him nearly as much as hearing it scream so close by. It was an experience he described as deeply unsettling.
As I went to pull back onto Highway 101, I heard the most horrifying scream that I'd ever heard. I screamed myself and ducked down in my seat.
Later, Mr. H.K., a known figure in the Bigfoot research community, analyzed a similar sound wave on their sound site. They named the recording Quave On Wave, but noted that the scream from this particular encounter was 50 times louder.
It was submitted by a witness that goes by CW. I was driving home on Highway 101 between Oric and Klamath. I have 4 high-powered off-road lights on my Jeep.
The very next night, another sighting was reported by a different witness who goes by the initials CW. CW was driving home on Highway 101 between Oric and Klamath. He had 4 high-powered off-road lights mounted on his Jeep, giving him excellent visibility.
Looking up next to my Honda CR-V was a filthy-looking gorilla, best as I can describe.
About 100 yards ahead, he spotted what he initially thought was a bear standing by the side of the road. As he got closer, down to about 50 yards,
When he got to within 50 yards of the creature, that's when it stood up.
The animal suddenly stood upright. Illuminated by his lights, CW could now clearly see the well-defined silhouette of something that looked far more human than animal. It was an alarming realization.
Mr. HK found a similar sound wave on our sound site. Name of the scream is KLWave1.wave.
The cover later described how he could see the muscles on its shoulders as it stood there, its hands covering its face. When asked if he noticed any unusual smells at the time or if he had checked the area for footprints, he admitted he hadn't. He said that after the encounter, he told his parents and friends about what he had witnessed, but no one believed him.
The night after, the following sighting report happened.
This disbelief left him feeling isolated and frustrated. Shortly after his report was submitted, one of the BFRO, Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization investigators from Crescent City, California, made contact with him. Together, they revisited the sighting location.
In summary, one of our BFRO investigators from Crescent City, California, made contact with CW shortly after the encounter.
While the investigator searched for footprints, CW admitted he hadn't thought to look for any evidence himself during the initial encounter. Before that night, CW had never believed in Bigfoot. Now he was struggling to make sense of what he had seen, and the fact that those closest to him couldn't accept his story. These two encounters, happening in the same area just one day apart, fueled even more questions and curiosity about what might be hiding in the dense redwood forests of Northern California. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch continues to document these reports, sharing them with an audience eager to uncover the truth about Bigfoot.
In summary, I believe that Mr. HK had a very close encounter with the Sasquatch creature. The sight of it didn't bother him as much as the screaming vocalization.
Wild Man of the Woods is a YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the Bigfoot legend through immersive documentary films. Their content blends interviews, on-location exploration, and storytelling, focusing on the elusive and mysterious Sasquatch of the Pacific Northwest. One of their standout documentaries, Bigfoot Beyond the Redwoods, follows Carlos as he recounts his chilling first encounter as a child in Pennsylvania. That early experience sparked a lifelong journey to uncover the truth behind the wild men of the woods. From the dense, misty forests of the Pacific Northwest to the hidden valleys deep within the redwoods, Carlos has pursued this legendary creature across the United States, encountering Bigfoot in places few would expect. In one moment from his story, Carlos describes sitting quietly in the early morning hours when he suddenly caught movement at the base of a tree. He believes now that the creature was crouching in a low position, almost like it was doing a push-up, peeking out from behind the tree. At the time, he could only see the silhouette of its massive form. No distinct features, just a dark outline against the dim light. Eventually, the movement stopped. Carlos sat there watching as dawn slowly broke through the trees. He drifted off for a brief moment, and when he woke, the light was fully up and the figure was gone. Curious and determined, Carlos went out to investigate. In the snow, he found a trail of footprints that led him through the woods, down a hill, and into a dense plum thicket. It was clear something had been there, and it wasn't human.
Walk away or, leave the area. And I didn't see it. And the next thing you know, I catch some motion at the base of the tree.
On another outing, Carlos was drawn to a location just off the main trail. There was something about the area that pulled him in. He wore a GoPro, and his friend, who wasn't a hunter but had experience as a ranger, had a second camera. They wanted to document everything they could find.
We heard what sounded like two kind of birds talking to one another. And my buddy...
As they were getting ready to leave the trail, they heard what sounded like two birds calling back and forth. Carlos's friend suggested it was probably just a couple of turkeys, but Carlos, having grown up hunting, immediately thought something was off.
Something trying to sound like turkeys, but that doesn't sound like turkeys, and I don't know two turkeys that yell 100 yards away from each other to each other through the woods. I said, listen to that.
He told his friend, sounds like something trying to sound like turkeys, but that doesn't sound like turkeys. What made it even stranger was how far apart the calls were, easily 100 yards or more. He knew two turkeys wouldn't behave that way, and the sound had an eerie, almost staged quality to it.
Young ones, and they were like, and it was really loud. Again, I can't can't give you the volume, and I can't give.
Later in their search, Carlos and his team came across an unusual depression in the ground. It caught his eye because of its distinct shape. At first glance, it could have been anything, but as he studied it more closely, he noticed what appeared to be toe impressions. Carlos took a picture, thinking it could be important, but remained skeptical. Still, he knew if he found another similar print in line with the first, it would be much harder to dismiss. They kept searching, hoping to find more evidence that they weren't alone out there. Throughout Bigfoot Beyond the Redwoods, Carlos's determination and keen sense of observation highlight the mystery and intrigue that keeps so many searching for Bigfoot. Wildman of the Woods captures these moments with a deep respect for the legend and those who pursue it. The documentary leaves viewers questioning what might really be hiding in the remote corners of America's wilderness.
You take a picture, I mean, that's probably just, could be anything. But it's interesting, if I find another one 6 or 8 feet in line with that,